Good morning, friends. Today's lecture is on tests on hardened concrete. As we all know, the concrete in the initial stages it is called as fresh concrete, and after it gets hardened up in the due course of time, then it becomes hardened concrete. In today's lecture, we will be seeing what are the different tests that are carried out on hardened concrete. We will be discussing about the destructive testing because there are other non-destructive testing also that we will be covering in the other lecture. Today's class we will be covering the tests on hardened concrete. Now moving on, as we all know, concrete is strong in compression and weak in tension, but still we will carry out the tests which will be giving us strengths on compressive nature and as well as tensile nature. So beginning with the compressive strength, compressive strength is tested using the cube tests. The cubes are casted of sizes 15 centimeters. 6 cubes will be casted and 3 cubes will be tested for 7 days strength, and the remaining 3 cubes will be tested for 28 days strength. The size of the cube is 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. These cubes are tested in the compression testing machine, as you can see in the figure. You can also see the mold which is used for casting the cube, concrete cube, which is of dimensions 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter, and the cube is placed in the testing machine, as you can see there. And once the cube is kept in the testing machine, the load is applied gradually, and with the application of the load the cube starts reacting, and once the cube has reached its ultimate strength it starts breaking. So you will record the load at which the cube has started cracking, and that load will be recorded. So you will be taking the average of the values of the cubes, and the average value is represented for the strength of the cube. So you can also go for 10 centimeter dimension cubes also. 10 centimeter cube can be used only if the coarse aggregate size is not greater than 20 mm. Generally, as the strength of the cube decreases, the as the size of the cube decreases, the strength of the cube will increase because of more homogeneity. And as whenever the size will be increasing, the cube size is increasing, there will be non-homogeneous mixture, because concrete is a mixture of water, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. These three has to be mixed homogeneously, and once when the mixture is homogeneous, it will be giving you more strength. So as the dimensions of the cube is decreasing, the strength of the cube will be increasing. So generally it is decided by Indian standards to test on a cube which is having a 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter size. So the strength which is given by these cubes is denoted as the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete. So compression test is done by using the cubes. You can also do the same testing by using a cylindrical specimen of size 15 centimeter dia and 30 centimeter height, and same an average of 3 specimens. But what happens in cylindrical test is, as the cylinder is not having sharp edges, the load transfer will not happen properly from the top to the bottom, from the top face to the bottom face. So when the load transfer does not happen properly, it will not actually participate in giving resistance. So the strength of it will be increasing, strength of it will be decreasing. So cube strength is preferred because cube will be having the sharp edges at the corners. The edges are all sharp, so that the load transfer will be happening properly. So cylinder test is only sometimes prepared in few countries, but in India we will be taking the cube strength for determining the compressive strength of concrete. So generally the strength of the cylinder is less than the cube strength. It is 0.8 times the strength of the cube. But sometimes cylinder test is better because it does not have sharp edges and the stress distribution is uniform. So here what happens is, in case if you consider the cylinder test, the slenderness effect will also come into picture. What is the slenderness effect? Slenderness effect is the ratio of least lateral dimension to the longitudinal dimension. As the cube, if you see, the dimensions of the cube is 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. The dimensions in all the directions is same. But if you see the dimensions of the cylinder, the diameter is 15 centimeter, whereas the height is 30 centimeters. So now the slenderness effect will come into picture. This will affect the strength of the concrete. So as per the Bureau of Indian Standards, it is preferred to test a concrete block of 15 by 15 by 15 for determining the compressive strength of concrete. The next, moving on, if you see here in the diagram, you can see how the cylinder specimen is placed in the universal testing machine or the compressive testing machine. The same way how we have tested the cube, you will be testing the cylinder as well. It will be placed in the compression testing machine and the loads will be applied gradually, and whenever you find a crack in the specimen, you will record the load at which it is failing. The load averages will be taken, and that average of the loads will be represented as the strength of the cylindrical specimen. Right, next, moving on, now we have the another parameter, most important one is the tensile strength. So tensile strength is calculated by conducting direct tension tests and as well as indirect tension tests. And we all know concrete is mainly strong in compression, but still it has a little of tensile strength. So there is every need to find out what is the tensile strength available for concrete and how it is behaving for the direct tensions and the indirect tensions that are appearing in the load transfer process of the concrete. Now moving on to the direct tension test. Direct tension test, this is, if you see, the cylindrical specimen is placed in the universal testing machine or the tensile testing machine. It is having ball bearings, and the specimen is mounted on the two inner plates, inner plate and the outer plate, and when these two plates are pulled away from each other, the cylindrical specimen will start giving a crack. So the load at which the crack is being produced is recorded. So this is the most direct way of measuring the tensile strength. It is not a practical test because it is not practically possible. You cannot rely on the test results of the direct tension test, and moreover direct tension will be rarely occurring in the buildings, and the strength in direct tension is around 0.1 to 0.5 times the cube strength. So direct tension test is just directly applying or pulling the cylindrical specimen in the two opposite directions. This is not a practical test because you will be rarely seeing this kind of phenomenon happening in the buildings. Next, moving on, the next one is the indirect tension tests. Indirect tension tests, as the name mentions, it says that the tension is being applied indirectly. So if you see in the previous case, the cylindrical specimen is mounted vertically, but in the same test, if we mount the cylinder horizontally, the compression load is applied. As you can see in the diagram, the compression load P is being applied, and once this compression load P is applied, due to Poisson's effect, the other dimension will try to increase. The other dimension is trying to increase, that means it is undergoing tension. So you will be applying compressive load, but in the other dimension it is undergoing tensile load because of the Poisson's effect. So that is why it is called as indirect tension test. So the specimen size is again 15 centimeter dia and 30 centimeter height, and the split tensile strength is found out. You can see the procedure as well. You have to apply the load without shock and increase it continuously at the rate to produce a split tensile stress of approximately 1.4 to 2.1 megapascal, and until no greater load can be sustained, record the maximum load at which the specimen is failing. Compute the split tensile strength of the specimen to the nearest 0.25 megapascal. And if you see, the split tensile strength is computed by T equals to 2P by pi LD. Why we are considering 2P is because the specimen is placed horizontally, the load which is applied on it on one face and the reacting load on the other face, put together you have 2 times the load. That is why you are having 2P there by pi LD. The circumferential area will be resisting the load. The circumferential area will be participating in resisting the load. That is why if you see, pi d is the circumference and L is the length. Circumferential length into the dimensional length multiplied, you will get area. So the formula is nothing but load by area, where you are having 2P. 2p which is mentioning there is saying that you have p for the action and another p for the reaction. Put together you have 2p, and the resisting circumferential area which is actually participating in resisting the load. Circumference is 2 pi d length, and the overall length of the sample is L. So you will get the area there. So if you see, split tensile strength is 2/3 of the modulus of rupture. So in the due course you will be learning about modulus of rupture. It is nothing but the flexural strength of concrete. So split tensile strength is almost 2/3 of flexural strength of concrete. Next, moving on, you have flexural strength test. Now this is the tensile strength of concrete which is measured in flexure. So it is also known as modulus of rupture or bend strength. This test is very important for design and construction of road and airport concrete pavements. And the specimen is having a dimension of 6 inch by 6 inch. What you can see here is modulus of rupture is nothing but the tensile strength of concrete in bending, or it is also called as the flexural tensile strength. The test is carried out by placing a beam. You will be casting a beam, and the beam is placed in the equipment shown in the figure. You can see there the beam is placed in the equipment by placing the 2-point loads above. You have 2-point loads there which are equally spaced. The concept behind spacing these 2-point loads equally is that the load will be completely applied on the bending zone, because it is, the name itself mentions that it is flexural tension. So you have to find out the tension which is caused by bending. So you should place the loads in the pure bending zone. If you see, the loads are placed at the center. You can see in the diagram the two loads are placed at the center, which is nothing but the pure bending zone. So you will be calculating the tensional reaction that is happening here in the pure bending zone, as the name of the test itself says, flexural tension test. So 2-point loads are used to avoid the shear failure. There should not be any kind of shear coming in the beam, because you are testing for flexural tension. There should not be any shear that has to be coming in the beam. There should not be any kind of failure because of shear now. And you can see the beam has to fail purely by bending. It has to fail purely by bending. So you can also see in the design of beams, 90% of tension is due to flexural tension. The tension, most of the cases, the tension which is coming in a beam is because of flexural tension. You will not be there will not be any kind of direct tension or split tensile. There will be, most of the cases, 90% it will be tensile strength due to flexural. That is why this test becomes very important. So it is denoted by the symbol F suffix CR. F suffix here. So it is also called as modulus of rupture. So the procedure for carrying out flexural strength is, you have first step, you have to assemble the loading device. The test beam has to be finished. It must have a smooth finished surface, and it has to be centered properly, and the testing apparatus must be operated until the loading blocks are brought into contact with the upper surface of the beam. You should make sure that the loading is happening properly, because the results are to be propagated properly. And you have to be sure that the full contact between the loading surfaces and the beam has begun. And if the surface of the specimen is so rough that full contact is not secured, grind the specimen to secure full contact. It has to be contacted fully. And the second step is to apply the test load at a rate such that the increase in the extreme fiber stress in the beam is between 125 and 175 pounds per square inch per minute. Next, first you will place the specimen properly, and in the second step you will apply the test load at certain fixed rate, so that you can easily record the failure load. And after the specimen has broken, you have to obtain the dimensions of the cross section at which the failure occurred. The cross section at which the failure occurred has to be seen, and the dimension must be recorded. And then the flexural strength is calculated by the formula PL by BD square, where P is the load, maximum applied load, L is the span length, and B is the average width of the specimen, and D is the average depth of the specimen. So this is how you will calculate the flexural strength of concrete. The flexural strength of concrete is nothing but the bending tension strength of concrete, which is also called as modulus of rupture. So basically in the design of beams, modulus of rupture plays a very important role, because concrete is strong in compression and weak in tension. So as it is weak in tension, you have to keep an eye on the flexural strength of the concrete. That means the uh, tensile strength of the concrete. You should be very careful in considering the tensile strength of the concrete, because the failure of concrete is sudden, and it is a brittle material. It will create a sudden failure. Then the sudden failure will mostly occur because of the tension, as concrete is weak in tension. So now you have seen the different tests that are done on solidified concrete. First one is the compressive strength. The concrete is strong in compression. You have understood the compressive strength of concrete, and then you have also seen the tensile strength of concrete. Compressive strength of concrete is done by using cubes. Different cubes of sizes 15 centimeters are casted in the mold, and those cubes are tested in the universal testing machine for compressive strength. The lesser the dimension of the cube is, the more strength it will give, because of the more homogeneous mixture. So the code suggests to use a 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter cube. And you have also seen the specimen in the shape of a cylinder. When you consider the specimen in the shape of a cylinder, what happens there is, as the cylindrical specimen does not have rough edges or sharp edges, the load transfer will take smoothly, and it will give more strength, less strength, because the load transfer will not happen quickly from one face to the another, as it does not consist of any straight edges. So generally we prefer cubes. So the cube testing is done, and the cube testing is reported as the flexural compressive strength of concrete. And similarly, when you consider the tensile strength of concrete, you have two tests, that is the direct tension test and indirect tension test, which you have seen in the slides above. Now considering the order of the strength, so generally the cube strength, which is nothing but the compressive strength of concrete, is much higher than all the other strengths. As you already know, concrete is strong in compression, so cube strength will be giving you the higher value. And then you have the modulus of rupture, which is nothing but the flexural tensile strength of concrete, that will be having the next higher value. And then you have the split tensile strength, which is 2/3 of modulus of rupture. So next in the order is your split tensile strength, and finally the least one is your direct tension test value. So generally concrete is very weak in tension, and when it is the case of direct tension, it will break very quickly without giving more strength. So that is why you can see direct tension test is giving you the less strength value. So cube strength is greater than modulus of rupture, greater than split tensile strength, and finally the direct tension test. So this is about the testing on hardened concrete, the destructive testing. So in the next lecture we will be continuing with another topic.